Hello, fellow monster hunters. I'm Darth Deku, and I need to clear some things up. In both videos where I compared Rise and Sunbreak to that other game, it appeared that I was giving Rise the short end of the stick. Well, it appeared that way because I literally did give it the short end of the stick, but that does not mean, like many of you believe, that I hate the game. To better highlight what I mean about Rise and Sunbreak, I decided to make this entire separate video titled Things Sunbreak Did Better Than Iceborne. While at first I was skeptical and not as impressed with Rise as I was with World, I did eventually rise to the occasion and got the game. I'm funny, I promise. To my surprise, I had a total blast. I had already loved World a ton and felt a different kind of joy while playing Rise my first time through. The joy of getting to experience a Monster Hunter game again. To experience a fresh take on monster hunting and to fight monsters that didn't even make their way into the new world. Which is also odd because, like, if those were all new monsters to the new world and whatnot, how are they in Rise anyways? Or in Stories 2? And would the Hoarfrost Reach from Iceborne be considered the new world as well? Or like a new world? Does Rise and Stories take place in the new world? Man, I wish the lore of Monster Hunter made sense. More on that some other time. I'm getting off track. Sunbreak genuinely piqued my interest at first, because while Rajang is my #1 favorite monster, Shagru Magala is an easy, close second. I just love Dragon Ball too much to dethrone Rajang. Anyways, in one of Sunbreak's silly little teasers, we got a Gore Magala reveal. This got my hopes rather high, as we could hypothetically get to see Shagru in Sunbreak. The only thing that makes me upset about this, looking back, is how we see Shagru on the loading screen before we can even fight him. So, thanks for spoiling that for me, Crapcom. Another reason it was a surprise to me that Shagru was even in the game was also because I was playing Sunbreak, like, right after it came out. I was experiencing all of these monster inclusions raw, and while most of them were revealed beforehand, Furious Rajang was not. And oh my god! Sunbreak Furious Rajang is honestly one of the most enjoyable fights ever. They took what was scary about him in Iceborne and simplified it while adding new and old additions to his kit. We got the pin where he shoots a beam through you and it explodes the ground, where if he doesn't actually grab you, he then grabs the rock. We also got Rajang channeling all his energy into a Super Saiyan dash that I like to call the Volt Tackle. And, on top of all this, he gets the best Wyvern riding in the game. Finally, after all these years, I can Rajang Bomb too. And going back to Shagru being my second favorite monster, Risen Shagru is easily my #1 favorite fight in the series. I had seen nothing on him until I loaded up and fought him myself, and man, I had to pause like 3 times to really process whatever he just did. Tears were welling up in my eyes. I couldn't explain it. What's better about this is I beat him with only seconds left in the quest on my first ever attempt. I was doing an investigation where I had to also kill an Apex Arzuros, and with just a time limit of 30 minutes. I think I had about like 40 seconds left, but man, I felt amazing afterward. But I also felt a sense of finality, as that was the final monster left for me to fight in the game. Despite that being the last original fight left for me, I didn't quit the game, because unlike Iceborne and that one Black Dragon, there are no absurdly overpowered armors in Sunbreak. The only thing that makes late game armors better is their unique armor skills. They definitely added some love and care to these, which can be seen with Geismagorms as he gets Curio, Shagrus as he naturally gets Frenzy Virus, Malzenos as he gets to literally suck blood from other monsters, and all the other sets that do things relating to the monster in a fun and creative way. What's more is the amazing armor augmentation they implemented into Sunbreak. The sheer extent of your armor's potential is just unfathomable. Like, I'm almost certain you could make just about any armor set with limitations, of course. You could emphasize raw defense, elemental defense, or even just change up your entire base skill loadout. It is super inviting, and I would love for this kind of armor augmentation to return in the future. Moving on from armor, let's talk about weapons. And this is where I'd like to address the brunt of all my comments on Iceborne v Sunbreak, being Scroll Swap v Clutch Claw. Many of you thought that Clutch Claw should not have won that point, and I can see your reasoning. The main reason Scroll Swap had lost, in my eyes, was because I myself felt very little need to actually use the Scroll Swap feature. The only reason I ever started using it was for the armor skills that give effects for using specific scrolls, like the Furious Rajang one I brought up. But even then, my movesets are the same on both scrolls. I never see a need to use different attacks when the ones I have equipped are the best possible attacks in my eyes. There is no world where I'd like to take my good moves and trade them for subpar moves. I had assumed that a majority of you guys had felt the same, but it appears as though I was mistaken. I may just need to use it more because I personally do not see the potential, whereas with Clutch Claw, there are benefits for using it to soften hide, free knockdowns, exploiting Clagger. There is a true incentive to actually use it. That is my view on the matter, and I apologize if you guys do not fully agree. On that note, however, I do like switch skills and some of the new additions in Sunbreak. They feel like a means to sort of remix your playstyle, a way to tweak and change some of your moves without completely changing the way the weapon is played, something Generations tried with Styles. Similarly, Silkbind attacks are also quite similar to the Hunter arts from Generations. Going back to play GU after Sunbreak, you can actually see a lot of comparisons. For starters, the things I just mentioned. Switch skills and Silkbind attacks feel like an improved version of the Styles and Hunter arts. What's also fun is how a few of the switch skills were taken from these iterations of the weapons as well, like the Lance Guard Dash and the Sword and Shield Oil being turned into a skill as well. Another similarity is the split story of swords, how you can progress the village and hub separately. On the topic of these quests, both games allow the choice in which quests you do to progress, although Rise improves on this feature. In GU, you don't really know which quests progress your Hunter rank, while Rise shows you which ones do. Rise also allows you to do most of the mandatory quests, while GU requires all the required ones to be finished. I'm getting a little off topic. The point is this: I'm enjoying GU, even if I am only Hunter rank 5 after 60 hours, and GU and Rise are very similar. So, by extension, I like Rise. To close off this video, I'd like to ask a huge favor. I'm kind of running out of ideas for content, so if you guys wouldn't mind, I was wondering if you could leave some suggestions in the comments. The trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds came out as I was working on this script, so I plan to make my next video on things I'd like to see from it now that we've gotten a decent peek of the game. Beyond that, however, I don't know what to make. So pretty please, with a Rajang-shaped cherry, Kirin Horn sprinkles on top, give me a suggestion. I am desperate. Like and subscribe for more content I don't have lined up, and I'll see you lovely people later. This is Darth Deku. Happy hunting.